Hi, welcome to Lee on the Lectionary. Today we're looking at the readings for the fourth Sunday of Advent in Year C. And those readings are Micah chapter 5 verses 2 to 5a, Hebrews chapter 10 verses 5 to 10, and Luke chapter 1 verses 39 to 55. The theme of our readings this week is the promised coming of a strong, obedient ruler who will bring lasting peace to his humble people through his death. The prophecy of Micah to the humble hamlet of Bethlehem speaks of an ancient promise being fulfilled in her. This is in stark contrast to the current state of the nation, which is besieged and benighted. But, says Micah, a new hope will arise from a small and unexpected place to work for me, that is, for God's greatest glory and advantage, unlike many rulers who reign only for themselves. This one will reign for God. Israel will be without a king until the time that this one is born. He will stand forever to care for his flock, not with human cunning or military prowess, but in the strength of the Lord and in the majesty of the name of the Lord his God. His kingdom shall spread to the ends of the earth, even beyond the borders of Israel, and so establish a secure and peaceful home for all who look to him. In an often neglected Christmas text, Hebrews chapter 10 speaks about the moment when Christ came into the world. He did not, of course, literally speak on the day of his birth, but the writer puts into the mouth of the incarnate Christ the words of Psalm 40, verses 6 to 8, to explain the significance of his coming. As elsewhere, King David speaks here of the powerlessness of the Old Testament sacrifices in and of themselves to please God. Those sacrifices are rejected, not as originally instituted by God as part of his ceremonial law, but as they were vitiated and nullified by the sinful hypocrisy of those who abused them and did not look beyond them. This is all contrasted with the eager obedience of the Messiah, who comes to implement the will of God in response to the long-written prophecies written about him. God has prepared a body for him, it says. As the Athanasian Creed puts it, it is necessary to everlasting salvation that we also believe faithfully the incarnation of our Lord Jesus Christ, not by conversion of the Godhead into flesh, but by assumption of the manhood by God. He put on our nature to be our Redeemer. And this certainly does please God, and the humble strength of Christ achieves what no mere animal sacrifice could ever hope to. The once and for all offering of his body definitively sanctifies all those who believe. The law is abolished to establish God's perfect will, but the offering of a sinless body is necessary to achieve this. To reconcile the Father to us, he must be a sacrifice, not just for original guilt, but for all our actual sins as well. See Article 2 of the 39 Articles. The Blessed Virgin Mary may not have known all the detail of this divine plan when she meekly consented to be a part of it. Christ took man's nature in the womb of the Blessed Virgin of her substance, says Article 2. But even the baby in the womb of spirit-filled Elizabeth was aware that something world-changing was afoot, and he leapt for joy in the presence of the one who would fulfill all the promises of God. Mary's response is rich in Old Testament allusions. Her magnificent song extols the power of God who keeps his promises and lifts up the lowly. God looked with favour on the little town of Bethlehem and the lowliness of his servant Mary. Both were greatly blessed. May we also be blessed as we contemplate his mercy towards us in sending his Son to be born as a man and to die on the cross in our place.